Welcome to Living the Dream Iowa Life. I'm your host, Hannah Nuss, and each weekday we'll share enthusiasm for what's possible and dive into the stories of Iowans living their dream lives right here in the heartland. Whether you're chasing a big goal or just looking for a little inspiration, we've got you covered. Let's change the world together. This is Living the Dream Iowa Life. Let's go. Heyo, welcome to Living the Dream Iowa Life podcast. I'm your host, Hannah Nuss, and we made it, folks. What did we make it to? We're wondering. Hannah, what did we make it to? We have made it to our 7th season of this show, which means we're embarking on a new year. In 2019. Yes, friends, it is 2025. I just had to do some math because I'm like, is it 7? Yes, we just completed our 6th year of recording every day of this journey of what this looks like. And over the last year, we definitely went into a transition that went from the death of a dream and kind of recording and living through those moments to really entering into this much more knowing space of like, all right, remember when we started and I said, I just want to like not sarcastically say, I'm just living the dream, which is fine. I mean, it's a fine thing to say. We say it. It's true in some instances, but I'm like, but I really want to answer like literally living the dream. And it was probably about 8 months or so ago that I was like, this is it. Like, first and foremost, I spend so much time with my family. Like, I get to see them. I get to care for my 2 daughters. I get to care for my husband and spend time with him. We talk every day. Like just so many things that I would just rush through and brush over and didn't do consistently. I mean, I took care of my children, obviously, especially when they were younger, but I feel like compared to what it is now, it was very superficial. It was just kind of like, okay, take care of the kid, check, check, check. We're checking things off the list. And I like wanted to get a depth, like I wanted to experience depth in those relationships. I wanted to be able to make it through hard points of those relationships. I wanted to be able to be present enough to make an impact in those relationships, to be a part of those relationships, not just like, okay, this quiz in the magazine says that we're supposed to have date night, every once a week. So we should have date night. But like, what are we talking about on date night? And like, what do we do together? And who are we as a family? And how do we exist? And these are kind of all of the questions that are just piling up as I'm thinking about what do I want to be in this life? What's important to me? What would living the dream life be? And, obviously I've had kind of 7 years of pretty hard charging daily work of asking that question and answering that question and asking that question of other people. And I think bottom line, going on this journey made me realize that yes, going after dreams is a vital part of our existence. Like, and maybe not even dreams isn't how you would describe them, but definitely having something that our kind of soul and body are contributing to, something to get us up every day, something to contribute to, no question. And then kind of this second part where yes, I have that. I have dreams. I have things that I'm working on and I'm moving forward in. But like at the end of the day, I have a family that I feel very secure in. You know, that little thing that I built myself, that I like, this is my home, this is my safe place, this is where I want to be. And, you know, I wanted to be home, but I also wanted to be at Target. I also wanted to be out doing things all the time. Whereas now there's just sort of this calm, we don't have to do anything. Like, I'd rather be here than anywhere in the world with these people. And that definitely was not the path that I was tracking, because work felt better, because accomplishment felt better. Accomplishment and success felt like the driver of my life. I had kids, yes, but I just kind of had kids, and that was just kind of another thing that I did in the day. And to have them as like this core reason for being is such a different place to be. And to know that, like, that is my central focus. That is the single most important thing that I will do in this life, is like produce and love this family that I have created. And then second and bonus, that we have positioned ourselves as a family to allow me to focus that much time to do that, to be that for our family. And then to like also be able to build my dreams right alongside them, and to be able to balance all of that. And it's just really beautiful. So usually when we go into a new season, I will do a blessing for the new season and what I hope is ahead of us in this next year. And what do I hope for season 7? I really truly believe that season 7 will be about ease and alignment, and sort of like, you know, in Hercules, when I can't remember who was waiting for it, but like all the stars were going to align, and that was going to be like the perfect matchup of whatever needed to happen. I don't remember if it was like the gods could release from the underground and it was a Hades thing, or if it was like Hercules gets full power on this day. Like, I think it might have been a little bit both. Either way, they're waiting. Okay. So I think that year 7 that we're moving into of this work will really be the stars aligning. All of them. And it will be about really getting in depth with my kids and my husband, and like really growing those relationships, while at the same time like having enough room to start kind of offering up some new things that I've really, I say that I've been waiting on them, and not like I'm sitting here and I've been building and I've been waiting. Really like waiting for the stars to align, for me to feel energetically engaged to launch these things. Every time that I have launched them, there has been like a pit in my stomach, and not one that's like, what if no one likes it? Da, 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 da. Like a pit that's like, it isn't time. This isn't going to go well. And not like, you're an imposter, you're ridiculous, you shouldn't do this. Literally, like, it isn't time. It's not time. You're forcing it. And this week specifically, like, I have not felt forced. I have felt in alignment. I have felt ready, and excited. I think excited to see if it works, you know, to kind of put a hypothesis out there, to put an idea out there and see if it turns the results that I want. And so this year will be the stars aligning and me continuing to kind of follow my curiosity. Like, okay, the work that I want to do in this life, the work that I feel called to do, this bonus work of life, really revolves around dreams and people having them and going after them, and why they don't, or why they do, and how they do, and what they do, and how they got there. And really, like, continuing to investigate and discover and ask those questions and figure out, like, what were those things. And for me, I think it's such an intuition based journey, that for a very long time I was like, you can't even teach this. It's so naturally explorative. It would be silly to teach. I know a few things very specifically that can at least start you on the path to that intuition, that, like, without little kind of primers, without these little tidbits of getting you started, getting the ball rolling, it's big, right? You're just going, okay, sure, yeah, I want to do dreams. That sounds fun. I read your book. Yep, same. Okay, I want to do dreams. How do I know what my dreams are? And then you probably read a bazillion books, purpose books, mission and value books, and all the things. And I would say, whatever you feel called to read, read. Um, but for me, like, I'm always going to be kind of tracing the roots, tracing back, looking backward, and figuring out who you were before the world told you what to be. And the cool thing about going on that exploration is, in that process, we're also going to find all of the limiting beliefs that are going to come up as you're going on this journey, which is great to have in your back pocket, because guess what's going to happen? It's going to come up the second that you take a step. The second that somebody says something, the second that somebody makes a comment, the second that someone coughs in the bathroom beside you, it's going to come up. These limits, these limiting beliefs that have sort of overshadowed our entire life, they're going to come back up. I can promise you this one thing. And so the great thing about this class, or about what we're going to figure out in this class, right? Because we won't know if it works yet or not. Now, I've been sort of suspiciously testing this, or watching people sort of on this a similar timeline to mine, watching where things repeat. And so I think that I can kind of help through those moments. And I definitely said in a post today, because I posted that this is coming soon. I'll be launching it on my birthday, kind of the courses that go along with the death of a dream. And I had said, like, sure, you can pay a guru $100,000 to go to their thing, and they probably know exactly what they're doing, and they're so amazing. And if you feel called to do that, pay them $100 million. They'll probably get you where you want to go. If you want to meet with someone face to face, like, and then you want someone that will grab coffee with you when you're stuck, probably choose the local person. And I think it's cool because I've also experienced all of this. And if you want to go, oh, Hannah's done nothing, like, dude, check the tapes. I don't know what to tell you. It's been 7 years. We are going into the 7th season of this show, of me essentially recording my life, putting all of my thoughts, heart, emotion, overwhelm, disgust, sadness, uh, every emotion, every heart, every impact moment really has been lived out loud on this podcast. Me leaving my job, me starting and failing probably 5 or 6 businesses, me failing to write a book, me failing to write a book, me failing to write a book, me figuring out how to write a book, me, launching my first business that really got legs under it, me intuitively following my path there, me wanting to leave my home state in order to chase my dreams, me coming back and realizing that this is where they're meant to happen, me falling back in love with the state, me deciding that we go on this campaign of craziness to get people psyched up about this place because it's pretty dang cool. And we don't really celebrate it the way that we do other states. Like, listen, I'll wear every state that I go to. I'm going to wear a shirt from that state. Ooh. And I'm like, I would never wear a shirt from my state. I might wear the college, but I would never do that. And I was like, why? Why wouldn't I do that? Why wouldn't I? Because there's not really any cool ones. So I started making cool ones. And there's none of the teeny tiny towns that you're from white. There would never be a shirt for not the Mile High City, the Mile Wide City of Denver, Iowa. There would never be a shirt there. There's never an airplane flying in there. There's nothing important happening there except for there is. And there are about a bazillion teeny tiny towns all across the United States that have sort of lost the importance of a local economy because we can drive. If we don't have it here, we don't really need it here, but we do need it here. And not because, we need cute little shops to just make our life a little bit better. No, because economic vitality is community connection. If you have no places to experience your community, how will you do that? You won't. You'll go in, you'll go out, you'll live there. It'll be a bedroom community, which is what a lot of rural communities are turning into. And so I'm saying, bring it back. And don't just bring it back. Let's make it the coolest freaking place ever, because really, maybe now people are getting in here kind of late. But really, this is the best home base that you could have. As far as cost of living goes, as far as cost of homes go, as far as business tax advantages go. This is it. We can do more here. Listen, freedom to flourish. Welcome. That is our state's motto. They changed the sign on the way into Iowa. It's not fields of opportunities. It is freedom to flourish. And freedom, come on, yes, please. Freedom to flourish. And you can fly anywhere that you want. You can come back here and my kids were chomping at the bit to be back home. Why? Because we're out, we're on vacation. We're like, you can't go far from us. Please stay with us. And we're all together. We're moving as four. We're moving through the world all together because we're in a different place. And we don't know anybody. And, we don't want to let the leash go too far because we don't know this place. And so when they got home, they were like, we're not all in the same hotel room. Amen. Oh my gosh, we can spread out. We can be in a different room. We can not be right next to you, which we enjoyed every second of it. But it was funny to see them we can have something different to eat than what you're eating. We can remember what it was like to ride our bike down the front sidewalk, without someone right next to us, making sure that we don't go too far. We're home, we're back, friends. And I don't know. I just think This is such a great and special experience. And while it took me some convincing, and it did, and that's all lived out loud here too, friends, I finally came around. Like, this is where our life is, because this is where our people are, right? This is our family. These are our roots. And for such a long time, I ran from all of that. And so, continuing on to what this year will be about, friends, it's about really being in all of this work, doing all of this work, launching more experiments, working with more people. I have enjoyed working with people, and I've been sort of doing mini tests of how this was going to work. Like, does this need to be one-on-one, really close work? Can this be something that we kind of pick up once and then let go? And just been doing litmus tests on different people, and some of you have known and some of you have not, and testing out the different concepts of the different workshops and classes that I want to offer. And I've been doing that for the last 3 years. Like, okay, I liked that about this, and really putting these classes out there, these courses out there, is just another way to experiment. I think I have a pretty good idea of how I want these things to go. And I also have no idea, because they've only been kind of like one at a time tests. And I really want to see how we can do this as a bigger group. Like, I've seen it work with singles. I want to see it work with a whole class, because so much of this journey, there's such an important part when it comes to connection and like being around people who can cheer you on and join you in that mindset, in that frame. Like, that would have been so helpful for me when I was going through all of this. And so if we can bring kind of connection and community to that too, I think that could be an even bigger impact, can help move people quicker. And this isn't about like, oh, I'm Hannah Nuss and I run all these courses and I'm so super smart and I've been recording podcasts and so you should listen to me and I wrote a book and you should read it and I'm the best. It really is like, hey, let's make this place epic. This state. Like, what are we doing? People have been sleeping on us. They've been like, Iowa, that's a flyover state. I don't know anything about Iowa. And I'm like, you're about to, okay? Because if we can all get ourselves dreaming, and I will go ahead and just be like, all right, I kind of started first, so like, let's go. I'll just start the car. Y'all jump in, jump onto the bus. Let's go. The Iowa bus is rolling, folks. You haven't heard about us? You're about to. We may still be a flyover state, but you might want to stop here because we got some really cool stuff. And as far as competitive advantages go, I would say that we will have the most unique economic landscape in the world, in our state. That's what I think we're going for. Like, if we can get people dreaming here, keeping those dreams here, making those things happen here in these tiny towns, like, can you imagine a cooler experience than like getting to see all of these hyper local, super individual places that exist? Like, no town is exactly the same. Every coffee shop is a little bit different in the way that they do things, and they're bringing their own flair. And every ice cream shop has this, and this, and every restaurant is doing this or that, and everybody's telling that unique story. And so, to kind of sum up the classes, and this one will be in September, so mark your calendars and make sure that you sign up early, because some of the classes are going to have registration deadlines, just because it's going to take me a little while to make sure that we have everything that we need for that class. So One of the bigger 2-day workshops is a narrative class. So this is for anyone that's building a brand, a personal brand, they're building a business, whatever. If you're talking about your business, yourself, your books, your art, whatever. If you're doing any of that work, I have found a very specific way to communicate that stuff. Like, how do I make sure that I'm hitting everything? Because I do so much cool stuff. And the course is actually called More Than Muffins. Um, because I feel like when it comes to social media, we just struggle because we think that it's supposed to be about the sale, and it really is about the story. But then, okay, when I'm going to tell my founder story one time, well, then my stories are done. Well, no, they're not, because in the core of everything that you are and how you exist in this business is what you should be writing about. I mean, sure, like if your muffins are on special tomorrow, you can post about that. And we also need to keep hearing the roots of who you are and where you came from and what your business is about, because I guarantee it is more than muffins, right? Like if I just do an analysis of people's social media, I would go through, and for the most part, I'm just gonna be like, all right, sale, 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 sale. Here's another thing I'm selling. Here's another thing I'm selling. And like, we don't go to social media to like, oh, I really wonder sometimes, right? Like I want to check the business hours. I want to see if they're open, who they are, right? We are doing that, but we also want to be entertained. And your 12th post about your muffins might not be that entertaining. I mean, it's consistent, so that's great. So this isn't like a poke fun class, like you're doing this wrong. This is like a, dude, this stuff is hard. And how do we do this? And how do we do it well? And how do we do it in a way that carries and communicates a culture, an expectation of how you interact with our business? So we control the narrative of what that relationship looks like. Because, you know, if we want to be all about joy and families and warmth, then it's very important that we're communicating that. Not just so we can attract that, also so that we can repel people who are like too joyful. Cannot be a part of that, right? Because those are going to be your Karens who are going to rip you apart in the reviews. Well, we don't want you. But if we're not saying we don't want you, right? And we're obviously not going to write that in the narrative, like no Karens who are going to rip us apart in the reviews. But we would say, like, this is the greatest environment. Our team is so amazing. We would use way more specific things to kind of clearly state that. But people are showing up in so many different ways in their business that is not being communicated, that really is the core of who you are. And it's very important to tell that story. So one of those workshops that I'm super excited about, because I've been doing this work kind of privately, one-on-one, and I'll probably open up a couple of one-on-ones, but one-on-ones are truly in depth. We're reviewing the strategy and the systems, everything kind of behind the curtain of your socials, and it's really in depth, and it's a lot of commitment from you. It's also a lot of commitment from me. So I'll open up a couple of those spots, but not very many for the rest of the year. So the narrative workshop, that's a 2-day. So excited to do that with a group of people, just to all learn together and really to have people ask a lot of questions and to get where we need to get on this stuff. Then the next class, let's see. We have a Do School Publish that's coming out. So that's running through local, but I run that one. I facilitate that one. So that's really like a 6-week program to literally get your book done. Like we're going to provide systems and disciplines to help you practice and build up, kind of like you're training for a marathon. And then you're going to do what we call a writing sprint. You'll finish your book in 30 days. So if you've wanted to finish your book in 2025, or if you've wanted to finish a book period, you can come take this class. We're going to teach you how to do that. We're going to include all the discipline and work to help make sure that you can do that, because you absolutely can. We have Do School Kids, which is our kids entrepreneur class that's coming up. That'll be at the end of August. That's a summer camp class that's provided. Maybe doesn't doesn't apply to anyone here, but excited to be doing that again, because kids have so many cool ideas, and it's so fun to like realistically work through those ideas and help them to make them viable businesses that they can then present at a craft show, at a vendor kids craft show that we do. And then the last class, which is going to launch on my birthday, that is the Dream Again class. So that really is a in-depth workshop where we'll be working through same thing, right? Like connecting you to a community of like-minded people so that you maybe will connect with someone who can go on this journey with you. I'm like one person, and sure, you can listen to the podcast and we can connect in that way. But if you need physical human beings to champion your journey, that's going to be a part of this class. And I am so excited to put that out there. Like, this is work that I've wanted to do that I just haven't been ready to put out there. So pretty pumped to be putting it out there, to be really moving people through this idea that like this is what I'm supposed to be doing. And year 7, that's year 7. Year 7, we started the year, which certainly, I think I knew my word before the accident actually, but couldn't think about that for half of the year. So stepping into this year in the know, my word being know, KNOW, no. I think that's just all that year 7 is about. Knowing that I'm ready, knowing that this is an exciting step to be on, knowing where we're going, and confidently taking local, taking my personal brand, taking everything that I've been working on confidently with me into this next phase, into year 7. Yay! As always, you're smart, you're strong, you're beautiful. What are you going to do? Change the world. Stop the pod.